Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So here we are, outside of our new property. We just got this.
Country residence.
Our country residence. Yeah, we'll still continue to live in London, but we're gonna be spending our country days down here.
Weekends, I mean.
Weekend.
Country days.
Burleigh House. This is just outside of Stamford, very historical town, and Petersburg, which is evidently the eco county, I think, of the UK or something. So, yeah, very beautiful residence, and the original owners, I think, still the family kind of continues to live in it. I think it's called the Cecil family, and
Yeah.
very Elizabethan. So back in the days of lords and ladies,
Yes.
and before that, there was the Srimad Bhagavatam.
We're hearing
course,
about the real Lord.
The real Lord, yes, the original Lord. Okay, where are we reading
So
from?
Canto 3, Chapter 9, Text 11. Brahma's prayers for creative energy.
Okay, so we just say the invocation.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 11. O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
Wow, so nice. So we can see the Lord through our ears by the process of hearing, which is what we're trying to do. And then our hearts become cleansed. And that way the Lord can take his seat there. And he manifests himself to the devotees in the different forms of transcendence in which they can always think of you. So the Lord manifests himself in so many different ways just to attract the living entities into his service. So because there are different strokes for different folks, birds of a feather flock together and all that kind of stuff, so like that.
Okay, let's go to the purport now.
All right, yeah, sorry.
The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee, so much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Ye yata mam prapadyam te tam tataiva bhajami aham. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse it is particularly mentioned, Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema, love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. On faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association one can become engaged in bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. This is clearly indicated herein by the word Shrutiksita. The Shrutiksita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord as described in the Vedas.
What did you get from that?
I thought it was a nice point that the Lord manifests himself according to how the devotees attracted to him. Because there's so many different forms of the Lord. So it's not that, okay, you may have got to the point of perfection, or, all your life you worshipped a certain form, got Bal Gopal or this, or, another incarnation of this. But what's revealed is this. that's what you get. Meaning, what relationship you have, that's eternal, and that's how the Lord opens himself up to you and entices you, and that, it's personal. Everyone's different. It's like, even with not just like say Ram, Nrsimha, Vamana, whatever, but even with Krishna, some people, like especially when you grow up in Hindu families, generally in Gujarati it's like it's Bal Gopal. That's what you see all the time. It's generally baby Krishna with the ghee or
Laddu.
butter. Yeah, laddu. It's like,
Laddu
so
Gopal.
it's like, it's interesting that, not many I've seen anyway in terms of growing up would be the adult or grown up version of Krishna, that's worshipped. It's interesting. So that's the form that they would get reciprocation in.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily that one is better than the other, because they're all on the absolute platform. There may be varieties of levels of intimacy, just like we know the 5 primary rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. On the absolute platform, your relationship with Krishna is perfect and complete, right? No matter which rasa you have or which form you appreciate or glorify the Lord, that's absolute. It means you love Him in that form and He loves you, and that's perfect. There's nothing that can be more perfect than that. It's not that when you're in that space, you're desiring to be somewhere else and wondering, oh God, why did I get stuck in Dasya Ras, or why did I get stuck in, Vatsalya Ras, So like that. So we'll try to finish this
It's raining.
purport, because it's
Great.
just
And we're in the
started
middle
to
of a
rain.
field.
In the middle of a field. Yeah, it took us only about 45 minutes to get here.
Hmm.
So let's see. I think it's not raining too bad, but how's your book? Okay.
Well, I'm alright, but the books, don't worry, the books are alright.
We're worried about the Bhagavatam. We'll survive, but will the pages of the
Alright,
Bhagavatam. This attachment of the devotee to a particular form of the Lord is due to natural inclination. So the inclination is coming from the devotee. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service, because he is eternally the servitor of the Lord. So we have an original attachment to the Lord because we're originally from the spiritual world in an original relationship with the Lord, and therefore we have a natural attachment. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service relationship with the Lord, eternally. This particular attachment is invoked by practice of regulative devotional service to the Lord, and thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord, exactly like one who is already eternally attached. Okay, let's read that again. This particular attachment is invoked by practice of regulative devotional service. So, by performing devotional service, our attachment comes to the surface. It's not that it's created by the service, it's uncovered by the service. It's already there. And thus the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord, exactly like one who is already eternally attached. So, means in the spiritual world we're eternally attached to a specific service of the Lord, and by the performance of devotional service here we rekindle or reawaken or revive that dormant or lost relationship, and we begin to act in that relationship here just like one who's eternally attached in the spiritual world. This attachment for a particular form of the Lord is called Swarup Siddhi. The Lord sits on the lotus heart of the devotee in the eternal form the pure devotee desires. And thus the Lord does not part from the devotee, as confirmed in the previous verse. So the Lord is situated within the heart, and He manifests a specific form according to that which we desire, which is known as the Ishtadev, or the Lord of the heart. So we all may have different Ishtadevs, as you were mentioning, right? So some people, their Ishtadev is just Balgopal, and they think of being like the parent of Krishna and looking after Krishna and caring for Krishna. Some are attached to Krishna in his form as Krishna of Dwarka Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and his majesty and majestic form. So there's an awe and reverence. And some are attached to Krishna and as a cowherd boy, and they want to play with him. And some attached to Krishna as his form of Krishna, the young, handsome, strong-armed, flute-playing Krishna, and that's a kind of Madhurya Ras. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a casual or unauthentic worshiper to be exploited. So he's not going to reveal himself to us if we're just casual. Or unauthentic means if we're duplicitous or our intention. Ooh, here's some thunder. Oh no, that's a car.
Cool.
Or our intention is to exploit him in some way. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7:25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha. Rather, by yoga maya, the Lord remains concealed to the non-devotees or casual devotees who are serving their sense gratification. So the Lord remains hidden by his yoga maya potency, his internal illusory energy, to those who are basically still interested more in sense gratification. The Lord is never visible to the pseudo-devotees who worship the demigods in charge of universal affairs. The conclusion is that the Lord cannot become the order supplier of a pseudo-devotee, but he is always prepared to respond to the desire of a pure, unconditional devotee who is free from all tinges of material infection. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It's so wonderful, wonderful. These purports just transport you and help you to understand so much. So the Lord is not going to become the order supplier of someone who's fake, who's not real, who's not who is casual or unauthentic. I like the way Prabhupada used those words. But for someone who's serious and sincere, Krishna will reveal himself, and one can conduct or act inside of that eternal relationship. Anyway, a few thoughts babbling on. Anything from your side?
That was a pulpit within a pulpit.
Oh, well, you better believe it. That's what we're here for.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, even on the non-God platform like us, you don't reveal yourself generally or let someone get intimate or, if you can see, to the degree that they're genuine and there's friendship and you would become close. If you see someone's a bit duplicitous and a bit sly and you're going to, trying to one-upmanship or whatever, we all have different relationships with different people, and we may work with people for 10 years, but it don't mean we let them in, as it were. So why should it be any different for God? He's not cheap. So, oh.
It's nice. You can hear the bells ring in the background.
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
a.m.
There you go.
And that principle of bell ringing, it's very interesting. Of course, in Western culture, we think the bells, church bells, all that comes from worship in the temple. Ringing of bells when you make an offering, ringing bell on the hour, ringing bells is very much a Vedic thing that's been taken on by many other aspects of religion, because according, Vedic culture is the origin of all religious and spiritual aspects. So, that whole idea of ringing bells is very much come from the Vedic culture. Do we want to read one more, or let's see? Oh, that's a long purport.
Yeah.
So I think we'll stop here because it is raining.
Yes.
It was nice a little bit earlier, but the sun, Surya Bhagavan, he decides to do what he decides to do. So we'll just
As soon as we pack up, it'll be sunny again.
Oh yeah, the sun will come
This
out
happened
again.
last time.
Okay, thank you all very much for your kind attention. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Jai.
If anyone's interested in a set of Bhagavatams, don't forget to get in touch. And if you have any questions,
Yes.
comments, reflections, you can put them in this comment section below,
Yes.
and we will happily get back in touch with you because my wife's very expert like that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.